The views and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of rmconair.com or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, what up? This is Corey from Slipknot.
This is Matt Sorum from Velvet Revolver.
What's up? It's your boy Mac 10.
Hey, this is Mike Inez from Alice in Chains.
What's up? This is Be Real from Cypress Hill.
What's up? I'm Sean from Yellow Card.
It's your boy Warren G.
I'm Brooks Wackerman from Bad Religion.
Hey, yo, this is Method Man.
This is Mick Jones from Foreigner.
I got a question for you. Are you serious about moving your creative career forward? Then you need to be at IES.
If you're a musician out there, you got a band, you want to rock, don't sit down on your ass and wait for someone to knock on your door.
You can do it yourself. Don't wait for nobody. Do your thing, man. You know, life is short. You only live once.
Totally independent, and I love it.
Everything's important about the indie world. It has been for a long time.
You got more control, and you make 10 times as much money. 10 times more money.
Don't wait for the record label. Do it yourself.
People need to hear the music that's in your head, that's in your fingers, that's in your heart. So get out there and let's hear it.
Because of the internet and because of the greed of those old school executives at these record companies, the power is now in your hands, artists.
Take back your art and don't sell yourself cheap or short to anyone.
If you believe in your music, if you believe in your gift, if you believe what God has given you, make sure you go to IES, show the world what you got. It's going to be going down here in Los Angeles, and it's something that gets all you independent artists getting going on that drive, doing what you guys got to do, man.
Be independent. Don't be afraid to be independent.
You got to be a part of doing you first, and that means independence. I implore you to go to the IES, the Independent Entertainment Summit, and do your thing.
If you think you know what you're doing in this music business, I don't care who you are, there are things you will learn.
The indie way is the way. You know, the large corporations have basically disintegrated. They're looking to the indie community to create the music and create the genesis of what's going to be the next environment.
If you started a new band and you're having a little bit of trouble figuring out where to go next, or what you should be doing, who you should be talking to, whether you need a record label or how to get your music distributed, you need to go to the Indie Entertainment Summit. That's the place where you go to meet industry panel experts. They're going to tell you everything you need to know to get you where you want to be.
For me, I spend all of my days and months going around the world educating musicians on how they can better actually release their music and market their music. Part of my mission, it's part of the way that we can grow the music business. So I'm going to go at all the important summits that I can go to, and the Indie Entertainment Summit is going to be one of the places that I'll be. You want to be educated? You want me to help educate it? You better be there.
If you rap, sing, dance, model, DJ, or act, or like myself do comedy, you can't afford to miss this conference.
You're trying to do your thing in this business, you're tired of waiting on somebody to help you, and August coming to LA, the Indie Entertainment Summit.
You know what time it is, man. It's that time, Rolex time. Chasing cash, get money, take care. Shout out to Hit Boy, G-Rock, Money Making Man, Stacy B, and Sir Cut. And we here with the Indie Entertainment Summit, man. Y'all need to be here, man. It's in LA in August, man. Beautiful people here, man. Dropping knowledge, dropping gems about this new way to pursue this music and a new way to get this money, man.
It's the Indie Entertainment Summit. That's the IES, baby.
Very important place to be if you want information to take things to the next level. You may not have access to the internet. It's okay too. Go there. You have an opportunity, IES.
Write it, rap it, produce it, mix it, arrange it, rap it, sell it. That gives you the power.
Every second that you're sitting on your butt waiting for something good to happen, your competition is passing you by. So if you got a dream, go and fight for it and support Indie Entertainment Summit.
I need y'all to come out to my city and represent with the Entertainment Indie Summit. It's going down August 1st through the 5th. If you're an independent artist, you're an independent label, you want to get your music out there, you want to network, come out to Los Angeles.
All you gotta do is, if you want to blow up in this industry, go to IES conference in LA, Google it, you gotta be there.
Showcases, panels, opportunities, everything that indie Entertainment Summit does is something that is very much for today's music industry. We know how it used to be, but we don't know how it's going to be tomorrow. But I think the Indie Entertainment Summit is going to be an opportunity for motivated, ambitious professionals to meet each other.
Music business is a hard thing to break into.
So you gotta do what you can. Check out IES, Indie Entertainment Summit.
If you're gonna be anywhere, you need to be at IES, man, in LA, man. That's where it's gonna be at.
It's going down just like that, August 1st through the 5th. IES, man.
If you ain't going to IES, you ain't gonna live to be an artist. You know why? IES, feed your mind, feed your soul. Get a good lawyer. They'll teach you which way to go.
If you're serious about your music, where do they need to be?
You gotta be at IES, yo.
What's that?
Indie Entertainment Summit.
You should check it out at IES.com. Hopefully this will become an annual event that we'll all be going to many years from now.
You need to be out to IES. That's IES, baby.
Going down August 1st through the 5th.
You have to check out IES. IES, show the world what you got.
Ain't no excuses. It's now or never.
It's your chance to show the world what you've got.
IES. I hope I see you there.
Indie Entertainment Summit, man. Circa, we gonna be there.
Indie motherfucking Entertainment Summit. Be there, Jack.
IES. Look for it online. The Indie Entertainment Summit.
If you really think you got what it takes to stand out, you really want to make sure you stand out, you can show the world what you got at the IES, the Indie Entertainment Summit.
IES, it's going to be here in Los Angeles.
Entertainment capital of the world. If you ain't there, you're nowhere.
Welcome to another Road to Hollywood. We've got a very special show for you tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in. Lots of knowledge, some incredible information that you can't miss. Again, as always, we've got a very special guest in the studio. This gentleman is extremely dynamic. He's involved in every facet of the business, and he is a major manager, executive. He's the CEO of A to Z Entertainment, working with such artists as Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, Sean Kingston, Iaz, of course, Nipsey Hussle, and so much more. Please welcome the Road to Hollywood. It's Steve Lobel.
Hey. Thank you so much for having me. I'm humbled and blessed, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Well, it's great to have you. We're going to jump right into it. I know that, again, you've had a long career, been mentored by some great people. Just give us the little synopsis of how you got involved in the business and who inspired you to do this for a living.
Well, I grew up in Queens, New York. I'll never forget where I come from. And I came in the game through Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. And everybody should have a mentor. My mentor is Russell Simmons.
That's great. And what was the move? What brought you out to L.A. and get into the management business out here?
Well, I came out here with Eazy-E, rest in peace. And then he had passed away. He had introduced me to Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, and their base was out here, so to speak. So I stayed out here, fell in love with the weather, and just stayed out here and made home base here. I went back and forth to New York a lot. I just stayed out here and created a business.
Well, tell us what traits you have that felt that were going to be strong in the management side of things. Obviously, a lot of people consider the management side, like your company says, A to Z. You got to be the babysitter, the inspiration. You got to handle the business, oversee the creative. What was inside of you that drew you to the management side?
Well, I started basically just hanging around Run DMC and carrying bags and learning and going to Def Jam in the early stages and Rush Management and just ear hustling and listening. Then I had an opportunity to get involved doing retail promotions at RED, and then I became an A&R at Relativity Records, where I met Fat Joe and MOP and the Beat Nuts, Common Sense, who's known as Common now, 3-6 Mafia, and then I became a manager. So everything just turned into a hurdle, and what made me love the management was the motivation and the passion for the music industry. And my company's called A to Z because I did every aspect, so to speak. I was the publicist, I was the road manager, I was the manager, the A&R, and so on and so forth. So that's why I did it all, and really did it for Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. So that's why I call it A to Z Entertainment. But the success of being a manager is you have to have people skills, you have to know how to communicate, you have to not take no for an answer, you have to have common sense, which we know common sense is not common, and you have to be organized, and you have to follow up.
Well, obviously the business has gone through radical changes in the last 10, 15 years, and what have you done to adapt to those changes as the record companies became few and far between and more of the artists are operating now without a major label?
Well, I feel like I'm a dinosaur, but I'm fossil fuel, and I'm trying to hang on. It's about your team. Together everybody achieves more. I try to keep a lot of young people around me. Couldn't do it without my team. But the music industry has changed so much, I can go back to cassettes, 8 tracks, vinyl. Now, like, you just press the button on YouTube and you're hearing the music. So you just have to adapt. I feel like every 5 years a new basketball player, there's a new technology, there's a new car, there's a new style, so you have to adapt. So you have to adapt with the music industry. Of course, things are going to change. And if you don't adapt, then you're just going to be sitting back in time. So basically just, being creative, being innovative, and listening and learning too.
Yeah, you got to stay on your toes. I mean, there's new information coming every hour, it seems, these days. New technology, new ideas, changes in the business. But now, obviously, with an established artist like Bone Thugs and Harmony, they've already got their base, they've got their history, and all that. So you're finding the shows and, adapting the next moves for someone like them. But how do you take a unknown artist from nothing to something? What's your strategy, with that these days?
Right. Well, everything comes from nothing to something. And, someone found Bone Thugs and Harmony, and then a lot of work was put into them for people to know who they are and buy 40 million records and do shows. Same thing with Run DMC, Fat Joe, legendary artists that I worked with. I worked with Tupac's group, The Outlaws. Pac opened the door for them. So, with the Mans, the Nipsey Hussles, the Ayers, Sean Kingstons, you find something from the bottom, you sacrifice, and you have a lot of patience, and you groom it for 3 to 4 years before anybody even knows who that person is. And you put a lot of time and energy and sometimes money behind it. And it could be, viral campaign, it could be a street campaign, it could be a single. But it starts somewhere, and you have to believe in people. Everybody's giving someone a chance. I always liked the new kid on the block. Me and Mick Mills just partnered up. We have an artist named Dave Patton. He's a video director, he's an actor, he's a singer-songwriter, producer. But at the end of the day, someone has to believe in him. And me and Meek believed in him. And now hopefully the world will believe in him. So it's always finding new things and just taking the time, sacrificing it, putting the work into it, because hard work pays off. And next thing you know, hopefully, God willing, the world will know the person.
Well, that's great. I mean, obviously, there's a different strategy with an artist that's more radio-oriented, that's more major label ready, like Sean Kingston or a man. Now, somebody like a Nipsey Hussle, obviously he's not going to be necessarily radio ready or PC. What's the strategy with someone like that from the streets?
Well, eventually everybody's going to have to be popular, and radio makes you popular. You could stay in the streets, but if you want to become popular, you have to cross over. I mean, 50 Cent did it, Jay-Z did it, everybody's done it, and it's not being a sellout. You're trying to feed your family and go to the next level and be a global, international artist. Sean Kingston started as a rapper named Franchise. He's really a rapper. And then they came up with the name Sean Kingston, made those hits, and he became an international pop star. With Nipsey, he comes from a background, shout out to my partner Big U, who's from the neighborhood, who discovered Nipsey with me. And we put a lot of time into it and work into it. And Nipsey is a CEO of his own lane, and he drives his own lane, and he works his own lane, and he controls his own lane. We just helped him, give him the catapult to take it to that level. But anybody who knows Nipsey knows he's very talented, but there's limitations because of where he's from and who he's associated with. It's hard. So hopefully, God willing, he'll become popular. But when you come from something real, and it's a gang culture, there's limitations. So, it stops somewhere. So every artist is different. You just have to understand what it is and deal with it, dissect it, and try your best to make it happen.
Well, again, our special guest on the road to Hollywood this week, he is Steve Lobel. He's a major manager of established artists. He's breaking and developing artists all the time. He is involved with the community, inspiring the youth. When we come back after this message, we're going to talk about that, how the next generation has got to be inspired to take it to a whole nother level. Coming right back on more with The Road to Hollywood.
the Indie Entertainment Summit, IES, and we're here in NoHo, North Hollywood. It's in my neck of the woods, which is the entertainment capital of the world, and this is the first of many to come, I believe, of these conferences. It's 4 or 5 days, and yesterday was the first day. I was on a panel. I came out here and, along with Jerry Heller, who's a legend in the business, Steve Lobel, who's a legend in the business. We were on a panel together. There were many panels yesterday. There's a ton of new artists here, new record labels here. I asked, where are people from? There's a guy here that I met from New Zealand. Any state that you can think of in the United States, there's somebody here representing that state. It's pretty wild that this is the first one, and there's just so many people from all over the world, I guess, here. Last night I saw some great talent. I usually come to these events and I'm here maybe during my panel, and then I meet a few people and I take off. Last night I stayed after my panel. I met a ton of people. I got some great demos while I was here, and I actually stayed for a showcase, and I stayed till the bitter end last night. I stayed until the bar closed. I wasn't drinking, just watching music. I stayed until 2 a.m. and then I wanted to come back again today. I'm not on a panel today, but I wanted to be here because this is happening. There's so many people here and so many people that may need my help, and so many people that I can learn from and I can pick up some new music from. I'm just so excited about this, and if this is the first one, I can't wait to see what happens here next year. This is pretty amazing. Jay has put on an amazing show, an amazing conference. People are really getting something out of this one. Right now on stage is Ted Cohen, who is the guru of digital. This guy, I used to work with him for a little while at Warehouse. He went on to work at all the major record labels in digital. He's here right now dropping his knowledge on kids and people that may not know anything about the business, and I guarantee you they're going to leave here knowing something about the digital business just from meeting Ted. I mean, it's a who's who on the panels. The panels are all saying something. They're meaningful. They're panels that people are really going to get some good education from legends in the business and people who know what they're talking about. So I'm so excited about this. I'll probably be here tomorrow. I'll probably come back on Saturday evening. It's so great. Again, Jay, you put on a great show, and thank you for inviting me to be on a panel and to hang out.
My name is Brian Shafton. I'm a partner at RBC Records, home to the largest urban independent acts, including Tech9, E40, DJ Quick, Exhibit, and many more. I'm here at the first annual IES convention. I was on a panel today, which I volunteered for. I'm all about my business, so some people might say, why are you doing this panel for free? The reason I'm doing it for free is so I can educate these artists as to what to do, and I expect to be able to find someone this year or next year that I can actually sign to my label and work with, as they have this experience and this knowledge that's empowered and impacted by all of these tremendous industry heavyweights out here. It's an unbelievable opportunity. If you're an artist, if you're an online marketing company, if you're a label owner, if you want to network, this is the place to be. It's chock full of people, chock full of important people. It's something I plan on being next year. It's somewhere that I'm going to look to sign new artists from, assuming that they take everyone's advice. And there's no way you're going to have an opportunity to meet with all of these people under one roof in Los Angeles, the home of the music business. Look forward to seeing you next year.
Hey, are you tired of those same old energy drinks with bad taste? Make a switch to Pitbull Energy Drink. with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Pitbull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pitbull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. With a guaranteed no aftertaste, make a switch to Pitbull Energy Drink. Pitbull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pitbull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. For more information on Pitbull energy drinks, bars, and mixes, visit their website at hiphopbev.com. That's hiphopbev.com. Online orders available at hiphopbev.com.
Thank you so much. We're back with the Road to Hollywood. Thanks so much for Violet Brown, Brian Shafton of RBC, and all the good words on IES. Again, it is August 7th through the 11th, right here in North Hollywood, in LA, the entertainment capital. There's going to be so much going on. You can go to the website, IESFest, that's FEST.com. And again, we've got more with Brian Shafton coming up in a little bit, but our special in-studio guest this week, he's a legendary manager. He's a fireball of energy, make things happen not only with the record companies, but he's taking acts out there independently now and making major moves with or without labels. And he is Steve Lobel. He's the CEO of A to Z Entertainment. Steve, please tell us about some of the great opportunities that are out there for artists, like these festivals, like these independent tours, of course, taking artists internationally. What are some of the things that people don't necessarily see, that is really some of the more lucrative parts of this business?
I mean, it's an ancillary business, which is touring, publishing, and merchandising. And I know we're just talking off air about Tech Nine, Insane Clown Posse, but they make so much money merchandise-wise that it's incredible. And, I deal with a lot of artists that tour internationally. There's so much lucrative money overseas. But you have to think out the box. You have to think more than just your city. And you just have to get out there. And, there's always shows going on. There's always concerts. There's always independent shows. There's, you got the Pay Dues, the Rock the Bells, the Smokeouts. You got the Key Club that's always doing stuff in L.A., the Roxy. You're an independent artist. Try to get on any show that comes through the House of Blues, the Key Club, the Roxy, the Viper Room, and open up for artists. And get your buzz out there. Live performance is the key to everything right now, especially if you want to make money.
Well, I know a lot of young artists, they get in, they're motivated by the money, they think somebody should be paying them right off the bat. Talk about that, the dues you got to pay and the seeds you got to plant. Because again, a Tech Nine was out there struggling in the underground for almost 10 years. He had a couple major label deals that did nothing for him. It wasn't until he decided to really build his own brand and really go out there from scratch and build his fan base and that it takes. So what do you got to say to the young artists coming up that's prematurely looking for a record deal? They haven't built their base and they think it's just about getting paid.
Well, my motto is, money comes and goes, history stays. So, at the end of the day, hard work pays off. These young artists out here, or even older artists, or anybody trying to do it in any business, you have to work hard, you have to have patience, you have to sacrifice. Nothing happens overnight. You just got to work hard and never burn bridges. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Everybody you meet, shake their hand, be humble, because at the end of the day, everything goes up, must come down. And just be focused and be positive, have God on your side, and just work hard. And I always try to preach to these young artists that think that someone owes them something or they want this because of the money to go buy some materialistic stuff or look cool. It's not about that. It's about planting your seed in this game, building relationships, shaking hands, kissing babies, and building a brand. And a lot of these artists don't even know what a brand is. A brand is when the consumer is emotionally attached to you. And stay consistent with your logo, your artwork, your music, your photos, because if you change it up and you already got a fan base trying to follow and you go a different route, they lose you real quick and they get on to the next person. Everybody's train of thought is after 5 minutes, they're lost. So just stay focused and work hard. Nothing's going to happen overnight.
When we talk about an established artist like Bone Thugs and Harmony, obviously they came through an era where there were big budgets, big video shoots, big tour buses, and all that. What is the hardest thing to keep an act focused when some of those, there's the tightening of the belt, there's not all those perks there used to be? How do you keep them focused and on the track?
I mean, at the end of the day, we come from the tour buses, but we also come from the vans. I used to drive around the country with Fat Joe and Big Pun, rest in peace, in the van. you know, and then sometimes it's private jets. You know, it depends on the artist and the budgets, but at the end of the day, it's hard to keep somebody focused as an individual, because as people get older, you know, they might have a baby mother, they might have some children, they might have a wife, they might, who knows? Everybody goes through things, you know, no one's perfect. So they have to have the passion, and they want it, and that's how you keep people motivated and focused. You could take the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. And at the end of the day, I only want to work with people now that want it more than me. And I still want it, and I'm an old man, I'm an OG, but I have the passion, so I continue to do it. So I'm just telling anybody out there, I don't care who you are, hard work pays off. You ain't trying to work, you just want to sit around and be lazy, God bless you, man. You're going to be sitting there for a long time. It's competitive out here, and everybody's trying to make it happen and work, shoot videos, put out music, get in the studio. It's more easier now than back in the days, but don't be lazy.
Well, I think one of the key things is, again, you got to love what you do. You got to surround yourself with a team you really enjoy being around. So it's not really work. Like you say, you're hustling, you're grinding every day, but it's not like you're laying hot tar on a roof in 120 degrees. Come on, this is really exciting, fun stuff that as a teenager you dreamed about doing. So really take it seriously, and you know, surround yourself with those people. Like you say, they might be younger, they might have different skills in different areas, but one inspires the other, and you keep on raising the bar. And that's how, you know, whether you be an Olympic gold athlete or any professional, you know, sportsman, you know, you're going to be inspired by what's around you. And I think that's really, really key. Now let's talk a little bit about, you know, we're talking about these incredible shows such as Pay Dues, Smoke Out, Rock the Bells. You know, these are started by an independent businessman, Chang Weisberg, you know, and you may get a little help here and there from a Live Nation show or this and that, but talk a little bit about, you know, the sacrifice it takes to really build something like that, whether you're building a label or a successful act, or in his case, you know, shows. He's competing with the Live Nations and the AEGs. Give us a little behind the scenes on somebody like Chang and how he's built Rock the Bells into being the #1 tour in America and consistently packing these festivals.
I mean, he had a vision. He believed in himself. He put a team around him, and he made it happen. And he didn't take no for an answer. He didn't care what people said about him. And now he's one of the biggest promoters. And he's booked everybody from the new school stuff to the old school stuff. Look, Pay Dues is coming up, and he's got Trinidad James on there and Macklemore, and they're the hottest artists right now. But then he'll go do Rock the Bells and have Wu-Tang or EPMD back together or DMX. So he's, to me, like the urban pop of Woodstock, Lollapalooza, so to speak. And he's growing and growing daily. And he's humble. And he's just opening the doors, and he gives opportunity for new artists that no one's ever heard of either on the Pay Dues to open up. So, you know, we're partners with him with Bone Thugs and Harmony. He's partners with Live Nation, and you know, I salute Chang and the whole Guerrilla Union staff.
Well, again, that's Pay Dues coming up March 30th. Again, Smoke Out this summer. Get ready for the fall. Right after IES is Rock the Bells, and it's going down big. Hats off to all these guys. Again, Macklemore's got the #1 song in America, no record deal, no label. Mac Miller recently had the #1 album in the country on top of everybody with no major behind him, and now he's got his own show on MTV leading everybody up to the second album. So it's amazing these days. Let's talk a little bit about how you can get sponsorships and endorsements and do things out of the box, where a record company might have once given you all these advances and then you'd owe them back 10 times over. Now you can go out there and get companies to put money into your project if it benefits them, and you don't have to pay them back. Talk about the benefits of some of the endorsements and sponsorships that are out there.
I mean, it's an independent game right now, you know, just like the IES, you know, the Indie Entertainment Summit. And at the end of the day, it's an independent world. You don't need to depend on a major label no more. You could do it yourself. And you can get people to back you up off a record, off a buzz. And you get sponsors behind you, put up money behind you, back you, and believe in you. The days of the major label is really over, so to speak. And basically, it's an independent game. Like you said, Macklemore, #1 in the country, making over $100,000 a show, staying busy right now, and he's not even signed to a label. He did this on his own, and he built it from a fan base from the internet. Mac Miller, he's with In Grooves, but he's still independent. Kid Ink was doing it independently. Now he just signed to a major, but it took a lot of time for him to even get a deal. So, like I said, the internet is very powerful. I feel like it's a new TV, the new radio. And people believe in you. You get some sponsors behind you, some brands behind you, and you can just do it yourself.
Well, like you say, a lot of people think radio is just in the business of breaking acts when in fact they're in the business of playing commercials. That's why they call them commercial radio stations. I mean, they play a little bit of music in between those commercials so you keep listening to them. And once you realize that, then you start to understand why they play the same safe 8-10 songs over and over and over again. And again, YouTube is the new radio. You have all these streaming services, opportunities to really launch your own reality show online. I mean, there are no more rules. So that's really what it's about. And again, our guest this week, he's Steve Lobel. He's the manager and CEO of A to Z Entertainment. Lots of big things coming. We've got some more words from Brian Shafton. We're going to come back with Steve and talk about the community works he does. But Brian Shafton, again, with his partners, they run RBC. They are the label management. They run the careers of Tech Nine and Strange Music that is churning out a huge roster coming up. They run E40's label, Too Short, Exhibit, DJ Quick. There's so much going on. Let's hear some words of wisdom. We just spoke to Brian Shafton in the RBC headquarters yesterday. Coming right back with more on the road to Hollywood. So give an idea to the viewers out there, really what it takes, or in their case, the commitment they've made to really build their own industry, so to speak.
The most important thing is the grind. If you're not willing to work, you have no business being in the independent game. You have to be able to work. Mm-hmm. So when I say work, 200 tours a year, 200 show dates a year, that's one part of what Tech Nine does. He's also going into the studio to make music. He's also doing videos. Well, big focus for us this year was how to really monetize those videos through YouTube and through Vivo and other sources as well. Mm-hmm. It's a constant grind. It's constantly working. It's constantly taking what you have and turning it into something greater. It's having all of our minds come together, talk about what we're doing as individuals, and see how we can make it as a bigger platform for us, as a bigger company. Mm-hmm. And that's what we've been able to do with Tech. We gave him his first gold single for Caribou Lou. He broke the Guinness Book of World Records with doing 100 shows in about 110 days. So the guy's off and running, and no one can stop him at this point.
Mm-hmm. So the whole idea is to just build the roster, build the depth of the merchandising, build the...
Yeah, it's vertically integrated. Like you said, we're buying the studios. Yeah. We now have in-house producers. We have our own editing bays. We can literally, we're in the process of getting our own T-shirt replication. We'll be able to do everything in-house, take full control, and also full profits that we don't have to share with people because we know what we're doing and we'll do it all ourselves. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's a large part of the game plan. And, yeah, absolutely developing the roster. And the touring is an amazing platform to do so because it allows for all these other artists to go on tour and be exposed to the millions of fans that Tech already have.
Well, again, it's amazing results you've had, and looking out there in the marketplace and seeing Macklemore #1 without a record deal, and Mac Miller going #1 album with no major behind him. What is your overall feeling as far as the development of the indies now? I mean, we just saw Mumford & Sons win the Album of the year.
2 out of 3 years.
Yeah, it's amazing what's going on.
I mean, it's fantastic. And like you said, radio becomes less and less important, and that's what the majors rely on. Now everyone has access to your music. You can actually hear it, and the fans can dictate what happens in the marketplace. And you can have an independent artist like a Mumford & Sons win Album of the Year 2 out of the last 3 years on the Grammys. And to me, that's exciting beyond belief. It's not controlled, it's fan dictated, market dictated, and that's what we've been fighting for all this time. Mm-hmm. And now it's really coming to fruition.
I mean, it comes down to real music. The consumers these days are less label driven. Even in the priority days, it meant something. In Motown days, it meant a lot. But now, it's really the artist driven.
Absolutely. I mean, the label brands can still be of huge significance. Mm-hmm. And, I've been fortunate to work with companies like Death Row and Rawkus that had a huge, label mentality and a great brand. And for Strange and Tech, it's a phenomenal platform. But yeah, it's about the artist and it's about their music, and you have to come with the heat every time so that you don't leave any of your fans behind. We want to carry them all with us
every step of the way, and that's crucial to us.
Yeah. Now, being an independent company, and obviously doing this with a fraction of the employees that Priority or any of these companies did. What are the main components? Obviously, you have sales. Break down the other components of which you operate.
Well, a lot of this stuff is outsourced, but I mean, without a doubt, the single most important thing is your distribution network. If you don't have distribution, you can't make money. So that's the first thing that has to be in place.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to have music, so A&R is a crucial component too. You need the content to feed that machine. Then in terms of marketing, it's the online marketing that's crucial, the most crucial right now. And the artist can serve to do a lot of it himself through his social networks. Above and beyond that, it's getting the editorial placed, and we employ a lot of different publicists to help us communicate that message. If there's the right radio song, to have a radio person get involved, and that goes anywhere from mix show to crossover to urban or anything in between. Video is a crucial component. If we've had tremendous success this year with 3 videos on 106 in Park for an independent. Function by E40, Function Remix by E40, and Tech 9 and B.O.B. with Am I a Psycho, both being on, or all 3 being on the 106 in Park countdown. That we can get, if we have the right songs and stuff like that, we can compete with the majors by getting them out there and hiring those people to help position it for us to do it out there.
Again, that's Brian Shafton from RBC. Again, will be a major speaker at IES this year as our guest, Steve Lobel. It is August 7th through the 11th. Go to the website, get registered, get ready to show the world what you got. So going to be over 100 of the industry leaders there, running over 80 in-depth industry workshops, seminars, major networking sessions. It's going to be one-on-one meetings at Deal Link. And again, we bring the IES Rock Honors and, of course, the IES Hip Hop Honors again back this year. We were lucky enough last year to induct Tech 9, the Alcoholics, Spice One, Chino XL. And this year we've got some very, very special things planned. Not only are we going to induct NWA, they were up for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. Of course, Public Enemy got the nod, and NWA needs to be honored. This is Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, MC Ren, DJ Yella. We are going to have a very special induction and tribute to Tupac, to Nate Dogg, to Eazy-E, and UGK, with Bun B coming and presenting, again, his late partner, Pimp C. And again, we're also looking to honor both Snoop, Warren G., Cypress Hill, DJ Quick, and of course, this gentleman's clients. We'd love to have Bone Thugs in the Harmony. Again, that is August 7th through the 11th, IES. Make plans to be in LA. We had people come in from over 20 countries, all 50 states. So no matter where you are in the world listening to this right now, there's not going to be a better opportunity to get in front of major movers and shakers, show them what you got, learn from the best of them. And just people like Brian Shafton, Violet Brown, and of course our guest Steve Lobel. This is where they give freely of their information, and we are so proud and happy and humbled again to give you this information at a fraction of the cost that these other conferences charge. So, Steve, tell us again why it's so important. We're seeing all these virtual conferences and chats online and streaming this and that. Why is it so important to press the flesh and really be able to look somebody in the eye, show them what they have, and build that relationship?
Well, I just want to comment on what Brian said. It's about your distribution, and you need to learn the business. And what Brian just did, he gave a lot of great advice to all the listeners and viewers. So I wanted to comment on that. And what you're doing August 7th for NWA is amazing. Bone Thugs and Harmony definitely needs to be there to support and hold down Eazy-E, rest in peace. But at the end of the day, like I keep saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You have to have relationships. And if people come out to the IES Indie Entertainment Summit Convention, make sure you meet everybody. Don't judge nobody by the color of their skin. Don't judge nobody by what they're wearing. You never know who someone is. If Jimmy Iovine wasn't on TV right now, American Idol, and he's walking down the street, you wouldn't know who he is. Leo Cohen, Alan Grumbler from E1. You need to know who these movers and shakers really are, not the guy who's just on TV or rapping. So it's very important to know who everybody is in this music industry, everybody. And if you're a Caucasian rapper and you don't know who Third Base is and MC Search and Pete Nice is or the Beastie Boys, go home.
So important to have some roots, have some depth. Again, I think anybody that's moving forward needs to go back and, again, have some history. Bring something, have something to say. So many people, they're looking for a shortcut these days. They want to point and click. They don't want to learn their instruments. They don't want to pay their dues. They simply want to get to the champagne shower with Kobe after the championship, but they don't even want to make the team and play the season. So, again, you get what you pay for. You really have to pay your dues these days. And we see a lot of these people. Macklemore just didn't start yesterday, but he kept on the grind, kept focused, really applied himself and came up with incredible material. His delivery is phenomenal. You'll see him on the Ellen Show. He'll be on Saturday Night Live. He'll go from Letterman to a hip-hop show. I mean, it's the diversity of the music these days. Again, like you say, you can't prejudge. I'm sure coming up, people were easy to put him in a box and, well, you're not this, or you don't look like that, or what. Guess what? He's number one. He's going to sell millions on this album. There's no middleman. There's no major label to recoup. He really put together an amazing team. Now, let's talk about all the work you do in the community, because I know inspiring the next generation is very, very important. The next guy's up. And not everybody can be that entertainer or athlete. It's very, very important for people to keep focused so they don't fall into the wrong side or end up shot or in prison. So tell us about some of the work you do in the community and how you inspire and what kind of message you bring to the kids.
Well, we do motivational speaking. It's called the We Working School Tour. We also do juvenile halls. We do drug rehabs. We did, the Phoenix House. It's just basically another love that I love to do. God bless me. A friend of mine, Gentry, brought it to me, and we really take this serious. And we have a lot of people behind us and sponsor us. And we go out and we talk to the kids. And I bring a DJ. The DJ plays a lot of music that I was involved with. Obviously, these kids might know who I am, but when I leave, they definitely know who I am. And we talk about real-life issues besides the music industry, and we try to let everybody know that everybody's not perfect, and it's about the choices you make in life. And we talk about, bullying and respect and religion and racism and teen pregnancy, and the list goes on. We just try to change lives. I love doing it. I drive an hour, 2 hours, wherever I have to go. Just came from Toronto, came from Columbus, Ohio, New York. We were all over the place speaking, and I'm kicking off my We Working School Tour in March, and I'm going to go through April, and I got a lot of special guests come out, a lot of sponsors, a lot of gifts, and we're just trying to help people change lives.
Well, a lot of people, again, coming up, just looking at the bling, they would think you're crazy. Why would you, when you could be in your office making these moves or making money, would you go out to a school with not a lot of hoopla around it and actually give back to the community? What is it that you take away from those sessions that inspires you to the next deal and the next artist?
I mean, it's inspiration. They motivate me. I just love giving my advice and then vibing with them and them asking questions. We do a Q&A, and they'll ask me all types of questions, and I'll jump out of bed and take a shower and drive 2 hours, like I said, to go speak to these kids. It's just another newfound love. I love doing it. I love giving back. It's about giving back. Knowledge is key. I'm just giving back knowledge of what I've been through from my experiences and my story.
Well, that's certainly very, very good work that you're doing on that. Again, there's just the prisons are full of people, the morgues are full of people, and, it doesn't have to be that way. Music is such a positive energy, and for people to, again, take this stuff in the wrong way. What do you feel about all the rivalries these days? It seems to be some artists got to create a beef to come up, or we're seeing Kanye somewhat dissing Jay-Z and Beyonce. And, these days with the internet, you really can't get away with saying anything at any show without somebody with a camera phone or something going on. What do you advise your artists, or how do you see being able to navigate through all the haters and, of course, the beefs these days?
I mean, at the end of the day, you are who you hang around with. I try to stay around positive people. If you're negative, I don't want to talk to you. But all that stuff is really publicity and marketing. Because at the end of the day, I come from real beef. Like, this ain't no beef. Like, these guys are talking it, but it's just more of a publicity stunt and marketing. Like, there's no real beef in this music industry right now. For someone just to say that, but then they see each other and they hug each other and they kiss each other. Everybody just wants to be out there, and the media and all these outlets, they just chew it up and they just turn it into something to talk about to keep people relevant. You know, it's like, okay, I'm going to be in town, I'm going to Mr. Child's. They tip off TMZ to go get on there. You know, it's all a facade, it's all gimmick, it's just marketing and stuff. And real beef, most of those people are not even around because, you know, people who got real beef, they're going to deal with it as soon as they see the person. So I don't get into that, you know what I'm saying? It's more publicity stunt to me and marketing.
Well, let's break it down because, again, without that record label that had all those departments and artist development and publicity and all the promotion teams, give us an idea these days. What are the most important members of a team? If you're building a brand new act from scratch, what are those teammates and what functions are they handling for you to start to go into war with that?
I mean, everybody on the team's important, you know? The person carrying the bags, the person driving the car, the person who's the A&R, the person who's working the record as marketing, the publicist, the DJ, the road manager, the agent, the lawyer, the intern. Everybody's important because everybody plays a position to make it happen. Jay-Z, Kobe Bryant, they don't do it by themselves. They have a team. And like I said, together everybody achieves more. But these days, you need a great agent to book you for live shows. You need a great A&R who's got a great ear. You got to find a great producer, might find a great songwriter. And there's so many new people coming up, so you just have to have your eyes open, your ears open to find stuff. You need someone who knows and got relationships at radio, who got relationship on online, great publicist, you know, and it's good to give new people a shot and let them work for it and become the next person. A lot of people are too quick to count that person out because they don't have the name yet. Well, someone believed in someone before they made it, so that's how I am. If Jam Master didn't believe in me, and Alan Grummer didn't believe in me, and Ken Gullick didn't believe in me, then I wouldn't be where I'm at. So you have to take people and give them opportunity. A lot of people don't want to do that. They rather follow what's hot or popping after instead of being a leader. I'd rather be the leader and give people opportunity.
Well, let's talk about the legendary Russell Simmons. You know, he and Rick Rubin, you know, when Rick's Dorm Room started, one of the most legendary independent labels of our lifetime, that's Def Jam. Rick has gone on to run massive companies. He was involved with the Adele record in addition to every major band from Red Hot Chili Peppers to Johnny Cash to, you know, Linkin Park, you name it. But what are some of the lessons that you actually learned from Russell? Because he seems to be so balanced and so zen about what he's doing. He's kind of like the Phil Jackson in there, working with the championship artists. But, you know, he's built empires with Def Jam, Fat Farm, and so much. What do you see about his characteristics or some of the elements that really made Russell Simmons the legend that he is?
I mean, a couple of things just want to get up. You know, I just did that TV show Millionaire Matchmaker on Bravo, and Russell hit me right away. And his brother Run, you know, my mentors and friends, and they were like, you represented for Queens, you represented for Run DMC, and it was amazing. And at the end of the day, you know, Russell's my friend and my mentor. They call me the White Russell Simmons sometimes. He was just a visionary. You know, he did Def Comedy Jam, Def Poetry, Fat Farm, the Rush credit card for people who didn't have credit. He just saw different things. He was creative, and he made them happen. And he's an icon. He's a godfather of hip-hop, you know, and he had a team, and he had a great team. And he's broke so many artists. With Rick Rubin and Leo Cohen came in, who's another mentor of mine. People don't know who Leo Cohen is, get out the music industry also. And, you know, Russell's out here in LA right now. He's doing film and TV. He started telling people to do yoga and meditation. Everybody's doing it. But he was on it way before. He's always on something first. And he's a great motivator. He's a great friend. And what I learned from him is just that you work hard, you never give up, and when you see opportunity, grab it, because opportunity only knocks once sometimes.
Well, again, I think it's so important when you say you got to stay focused, you got to stay humble, you got to stay hungry. You know, even if you hit the lottery tomorrow or your next act is, you know, number one on the charts and the dollars are flowing in, you got to have that edge, that hunger, and that humbleness to, you know, love what you do and stay at it. Because again, you know, you're up, you're down. It could be a disaster and a tsunami hits you tomorrow, and you got to stay balanced. I think that's one of the key things. Let's talk about people. You know, we've seen Kevin Liles come as an intern. We saw, you know, Puffy, who everyone knows is Diddy now, start as an intern at Uptown. Of course, Leor just started, you know, helping Russell and, you know, became, again, most recently the CEO of recorded music at Warner. And now he's out about to start another type of company. Talk about that, where you really can't prejudge someone, and really it might be that intern or that guy coming in, just like you say, taking the trash out or carrying some bags, and you treat them the same as you do that CEO. And why is that so important to really groom that talent?
Well, I want to touch on what you said, like everything goes up, comes down, it's up, it's down. I've been blessed that my career has been the speed limit. I'd rather be like on cruise control and stay the speed limit and be consistent for 20-some-odd years than just have one hit and just disappear, or be at the bottom and can't get up. But Kevin Laos, dear friend of mine from Baltimore, he started as a radio promo guy. Then he became running Def Jam and Warner Brothers, and now obviously he's Trey Songz's manager and Young Jeezy's manager. Still in the game. He put out a great book. Leo Cohen started out as, he's from Israel. He was the road manager for Run DMC. And then he became one of the biggest guys in music. He's running Warner Music, but obviously not no more. And him and Irv Gotti are about to start a big management company. Mike Kaiser. There's so many guys that, like I said over and over, never judge a book by its cover. If you're going to try to do this music stuff, learn who people are. Don't look at them because of the color of their skin or where they live or how they look, because the most powerful ones are not looking like a rapper, pants off their butt, a chain around their neck, in a Bentley. They're going to look like so low-key, and you wouldn't even expect it. I mean, look at Brian Shafton. Honestly, if you walk down the street, would you really know who he is? Violet Brown, a legend. It wasn't for Violet putting urban music into the warehouses, come on, half these guys wouldn't even have a career. Me, if I walk down the street, would you or not know me? And it goes to a lot of people. So don't just focus on the rapper and the TV or the YouTube or the radio. Find out who the key players are behind the scenes making it happen that really could change your lives and really make you some money and really show you the music industry. And learn it. If you don't learn this music industry, I don't know what to tell you, you're just going to get raped, screwed, and effed. Excuse my French. So learn the business first before you try to do this music industry stuff, because it's a business and it's a music business. You will get tore up, chewed up, spit out if you don't know this music industry or this music business. It's a business. Get a lawyer.
Well, it's so true. These people that you speak of, again, you walk down the street, you have no idea that this little white woman is probably more responsible for making Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and Eazy-E the legends that they are today than almost anyone. Like you say, these guys were not getting much radio play at all. NWA. I know Jerry Heller at IS last year said at their peak they were making like $15,000 a show, but you got to stay focused. We talk about the tortoise and the hare all the time because, again, the flashy guy out there spends his whole advance on a gold chain and a new car, even though what he should be doing is touring the country and the world for the next year to really establish his fan base, is completely lopsided. Now, the quickest way to get $1 million in debt to that record company is take a $100,000 check. Now, all of a sudden, they're recouping forever, and they really not taking care of their business. And what's so great about Tech Nine and a lot of these artists today is, they understand that you got to go out there and build a fan base. And if it's not radio, now it's the internet. And if you stay consistently coming to their market, and again, Tech Nine doesn't do these big shows. He's not playing Staples Center. He's not even doing the Palladium. He'll come to a venue like the House of Blues, let people in hours early, got a line around the block, people spending probably an average of $50 a head on merch, really deep. They got a tractor trailer full of merch parked outside, tour buses, all that. And this is an artist with no airplay, no major mainstream, press and media. So, again, I think what's really important is, again, the focus and putting together your business plan. I think one of the most exciting things these days has gotten rid of so much of it in the middle. One of the reasons why these BREs and the urban networks and all that aren't around like they were in the conventions, because they were dependent on major label checks. They weren't going to do that check unless Epic wrote a check and Warner wrote a check and Atlantic wrote a check and Elektra, got a check in the mail. And I think what's really, really important about, of course, with IES, but more importantly about the indie scene these days is you need to build your infrastructure and vertically integrate. And that's what Brian Shafton was so eloquent about. Tech Nine, they take the money and they invest back into themselves. Why rent that tour bus when you can own it? Why go spend all that money in these studios when you can have your own studio and have a full-time engineer and start building your roster of acts? Why don't you employ those video directors and now constantly be making videos, commercials, EPKs, web promos, and all that? It's so smart, what these guys are doing. It's really insane. But again, we're humbled to have people like this, the icons, and of course we're going to have Violet Brown present to NWA at IES, which again is fitting. She supported them before anybody did, even before they signed with Priority. She was babysitting Eric Wright's kids. I mean, it goes so deep that, these guys, Dr. Dre's on top of the world. Beats is becoming a $1 billion property. Like you say, Jimmy Iovine could walk through the door right now, and most of your young rappers would laugh at, who is this old white guy in a baseball cap? They have no idea what is behind. Again, so many of these legendary labels, albums, were paying tribute to Straight Outta Compton this year. I mean, tens of millions sold on an album that virtually could get no airplay. And again, this is the celebration of the independent spirit. And we're so glad to have Steve Lobel in the studio. Next week, Violet Brown. Again, more from Brian Shafton and all these great people. We implore you to check out the website and come down and be a part of it. Again, I think to be a student of the game is really important. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, Steve? That like every day is an opportunity. Again, when Violet Brown was off the stage with you and Jerry Heller, legends in the game, next thing I know, I look around, she's sitting in the audience taking notes. For someone that's 30, 40 years deep in the game and 600-700 plaques, what is that mindset that is going to implore these people to constantly be in student of the game even after all that?
I mean, knowledge is key. I mean, you guys listening have the era now of just Googling something and learning about something, but learn the business, learn the key players, like I said, read books, Google things. Don't be ashamed to not learn or ask questions. I always ask questions if I don't know something. No one knows it all. Sometimes I'm quiet, sometimes I got a big mouth. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to still learn and educate myself. There's always new things coming, but learn the business. Knowledge is key, like I said. And just find out every aspect, from publishing, from touring, from accounting, from everything. At the end of the day, in advance, go lease the car instead of buying the car. Like, go just do smart things, learn the business. I know a lot of people listening, and I would love to see how many people really listened. I would love for everybody to tweet me at Steve Lobel and, follow me, ask me questions, learn from me. I walk down the street, someone approaches me, I have no problem talking to someone, giving out my card, building a relationship with people, because you never know what that person could do for you or help you, and it's not always about money. So I love just being humble and never forgetting where I come from. I'm out everywhere. People see me everywhere. I'm approachable. I don't need security. I don't go the other way. I might be moody, but I still want to listen and learn and talk to people. So if you're listening, hit me at Steve Lobel. I'm on Facebook at Steve Lobel. We Working is my Instagram. And, I come from loyalty, integrity, and respect, and hope all you guys out there know about those things and learn. And whatever you're trying to do in life, stay focused, stay positive, and God bless you guys.
Well, again, these are pearls of wisdom. Thank you so much for coming down, Steve. We look forward to having you part of IES this year, as always, and inspiring, encouraging, and building, legendary brands and acts and labels of the future. Again, this has been The Road to Hollywood. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Stay focused, and see you soon.